In under 24 hours, the result of the just ended October 12th presidential election will be announced by the Constitutional Council, the body charged to announce the result officially to what Cameroonians went to the poll, casted their ballot, and to what the General National Counting Commission submitted to the Constitutional Council as what they need to understand and what they need to read. The Constitution is clear that it is only when the Constitutional Council declares the winner, then they can say there is a winner. Without doubt, no one, according to the Constitution, has the legality to officially claim that they have won the election. In all of this, with more than 31,000 polling units, voters went to the poll peacefully to choose their choice president, to decide on who aligned to the ideological, political, social, economic, and cultural vision of the republic. There are 12 in numbers that went for the election, and as it stands now, all fingers are crossed, waiting to hear what the Constitutional Council have as the official result. Across the northwest, the southwest, the west region, littoral, the far north, the east, the north, everybody is waiting for Monday, which is the 27th of October 2025, a date set aside by the Constitutional Council to carry out with its constitutional duty. Several petitions were actually filed, post-electoral petitions were filed at the Constitutional Council. Some of them seek a partial cancellation, some seek a total cancellation of the just ended presidential election. These petitions were actually examined. The petitioners had the time to plead their case and to tender their evidence to the Constitutional Council. After all the evidences were tendered and after all their presentation, where the petitioner had the time to plead their case, the constitutional members of the bench looked at it, and all the petitions were described inadmissible and also rejected, what was called irrecevable non fondé. That cleared the road for the official declaration of the result. Also on Friday, there was a petition seeking a recount of the election, a recount of the result, and when that petition was actually tabled before the Constitutional Council, the president also had a time of the Constitutional Council to listen to the petitioner, and after hours of deliberation, the evidences that were tendered could not be admitted based on reasons advanced by the Constitutional Council. So that petition was also thrown out, and now officially cleared the way for Monday, where the results will be officially announced. Invitations have been sent to different political stakeholders to all converge in Yaoundé and listen to the results of the presidential election. Calm is what many Cameroonians elite and traditional elite have been calling for their people to stay calm, respectful, and respect state institutions. The Minister of Territorial Administration, Paul Atanganji, has made several outings regarding to the moment where he has actually appealed to Cameroonians to stay calm and respect state institutions and believe in what the Constitutional Council will have to say as the only body recognized by law to actually give the result according to the Minister of Territorial Administration. On Friday also, the Minister of Communication, Rene Emmanuel Sadi, also had a press conference in which he called on journalists to actually be advocate of peace and actually handle programs that will bring peace and that will bring Cameroonians together to seek for peace. Also, in some quarters, there have also been several calls by traditional rulers, senior divisional officers, and some other senators and members of parliament, all calling for Cameroonians to come together and stay true to land of promise, land of glory, and deep endowment forevermore, and also stay true to the motto of Cameroon, which is peace. That peace is sacrosanct, cannot be traded for anything. However, Minister Paul Atanganji says the government will take all necessary measures to restore peace and to make sure that peace is actually reserved within the territorial boundaries of Cameroon. Security measures have been put in place as Cameroonians wait for the result. The bishops of the National Episcopal Conference also had a letter, the Episcopal letter, which they published, and in it they also voiced the concern that the voice of the voters, according to the bishops, should be reflected, and that the announcement should reflect what the voters actually decided. The bishop also noted that they cover about 12,257 polling units, a percentage of 39 of the total polling stations in Cameroon. And they articulated that Section 113 also talked about the trend of the election. However, the bishop also called on the people to stay calm and remain peaceful, and that justice should serve. While the chiefs are calling for peace, the bishops are also calling for justice. In all of these, peace and justice, where should we stand? This is House of Commons. We need Tah Javis. If you are just joining us, I want to seize this opportunity to wish you happy Sunday to you. All those of you watching us across the world, to you, Mr. Agbo Charles in Canada, happy Sunday to you and your entire family, your wife, children, and to you also, Madam Nyam, Mr. Nyam Roberts, and your children, Maya Kelly and Senior. Happy Sunday to you and happy birthday to you, Rita, of the School of Health Science, doing nursing, the Catholic University of Boya. Many more years as you celebrate your birthday today, and happy Sunday to all those of you watching us in the different parts of Cameroon and also on social media across the world. Happy Sunday to all of you. In the studio, we are going to be joined by a cream of panelists whom we are going to talk about today's edition of our program. While we are with the other members of our panelists of our panel who are yet to come in the studio, we are joined by Mr. Ayom Prizo, who is also a representative of the party, who happens to be Sesh Espoir Matomba's party, the PU's party. Welcome, sir, and thanks for joining us. Happy Sunday.
Yeah, thank you. Happy Sunday to you and to all your televiewers. It is a pleasure, it's a duty for me to be here, not just on behalf of my party, but also on behalf of the entire Cameroonians. And beyond that, as a citizen who has been trained and who has enough probably information and committed to education. That's the reason why I'm here today again, so that we can debate on the issues which are actually the most, maybe the most important, or on which you know, the entire community of Cameroonians are focusing their eyes, because we know very well how much elections are in a country, and moreover presidential election. And so we just hope that everyone will await these elections in calm, because beyond the elections, obviously we should not forget that life continues, in that elections are just once, maybe after 5 or 7 years, and after the elections, as I said, life has to continue. So I encourage each and everyone to stay calm while expecting the results that will be delivered tomorrow by the Constitutional Council.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Yeme Prizo. In the studio, we're also going to have a representative of the Social Democratic Front, Brandon, who is here to make his arrival, and also we had invited a member of the CPDM party who had agreed to be part of the program. We are still waiting for them to come to the studio, probably due to traffic or maybe reason beyond their control. But earlier this week, the Minister of Territorial Administration, Paul Atangaji, granted a press conference in which he articulated that 3 terrorists have been arrested in the northern part of Cameroon in Garoua. That 3 terrorists were arrested alongside some of their accomplices who have been
of the nation. I therefore call on parents to ensure the safety of their children and not allow them to be manipulated or misled by certain corrupt, selfish, and irresponsible politicians. I urge the latter not to use our children to perpetrate their devilish plans. I call on our compatriots in the diaspora to be more responsible and avoid as much as possible the propagation of false information. I would like to encourage public opinion leaders, traditional rulers, religious authorities, and the various components of the nation, wherever they may be, to promote peace, unity, stability, and living together. We know we can count on the democratic majority of Cameroonians and their deep-rooted commitment to peace and living together, values dear to the President of the Republic, His Excellency, President Paul Biya. I take this opportunity to call upon media professionals to uphold their Republican duty of informing, educating, and raising awareness amongst population. They will certainly recall the destructive role played by the so-called hate media during the genocide that occurred in an East African country some years ago. Let it be clear, and I want to say it clearly, that any media outlet promoting insurrection, spreading hate speech, or false information will face the full force of the law sooner or later. Cameroon, a beautiful country, is a state governed by the rule of law. And any dispute regarding the results of the election must be brought before competent authorities in strict compliance with the law. It should be clearly understood that being a presidential candidate does not in any way confer immunity on anyone. I wish to reassure the population that the state has taken all necessary measures to maintain order and to prevent any attempt to create disorder or to destabilize our country. In any case, the laws of the land shall prevail, and defaulters should not take it lightly. I want to call on Cameroonians to go about their daily activities as usual while waiting for the official proclamation of the presidential election results by the Constitutional Council, the only competent body to do so. Let us all be custodians of peace, unity, and living together. Thank you.
Minister Paul Atangaji during the press conference which he granted yesterday, Saturday, the 25th of October 2020 at 5, talking about the fact that let us all be custodian of peace. Mr. Prizo, let me get your reaction from the outing of the Minister of Territorial Administration.
First of all, I want to say that as a citizen or as a representative or a political party, the very first thing we have to take note of is that what the minister is doing is a normal exercise, because he has to keep on, informing people about the security within the country. Moreover, during a period like this, that is before the elections and even after. But what is, I may say, ugly here is that the event is mentioning here actually wouldn't have been, the kind of information we could expect in a country where, we have as the very first theme of the motto peace.
Yeah.
Which means that the informations that are relayed to Cameroon and that are brought to Cameroonian are an indication that there is a problem somewhere, a problem of peace within the country, and that most of the time, because it's not new, the atmosphere seems to be always tensed during the elections. And this is an indication that is something, there are things that are wrong. There are things that are not working as we would expect for a country, as I said, which has as the very first, theme of its motto,
peace.
And it shows that we are not actually working peace the way it should be, because we all should know that the peace is a value. Talking about peace is talking about a value, is talking about, a condition. And this condition, we should note it, is consubstantial to human society.
Mm-hmm.
And for that reason, we, as members of the society, are those who every day must work hard to guarantee peace, both within our, environment, that is from our families, and beyond, when it comes to talking about a nation like our own. And it is worth reminding that peace is just like when we talk about liberty. It is not given, but it is not also like seized, like some people may think it. But peace is a condition that is worked out permanently on a daily basis and at all levels. And for that reason, what I want to say, to draw our attention, is that all of us as citizens are called to be peacemakers, peace champions, because despite all what is mentioned, in the various, on the bulk of the laws we have in the country, despite the presence of institutions, we all have the same, we have a concurrent, ability and right to promote peace within our country. And this should be very, very important to understand, because it is not like peace must be conditioned by or dependent on the fact that there are forces of law, there are laws, and so on. No. Peace is, as I said, a condition which is actually embedded, in the daily life, in the rules of community, in the culture of every single community. You will not see a community anywhere in the world where they will tell you that people are not conscious of the fact that they need to live in peace. So when all these things, occur, it shows that there is a lot of work which we have to do, and we should not only think that the administration alone, or the government alone, the state alone, can guarantee peace. It is obvious that at this present time, with all that has happened within this period of pre-elections and after elections, the atmosphere has been so tensed, such that there are indications that due to the stakes of these elections, some people feel like disgruntled, and so they believe that the only way to go about the situation is by using, unruly conduct, unlawful, methods, which actually have to be curbed by the forces of law, by the authorities of the states, to maintain the peace which we all expect. But as I said, to maintain this peace, in a sustainable way, it is necessary that the rules governing the country should be respected by both those who are in power and the common citizens, because the absence of all this, the absence of peace generally, is just as a consequence of the non-respect of people's rights.
Okay. I was about to ask you this question, because if you listen across the nation now, a lot of calls is being made that peace, peace, peace. Is it that Cameroonians have not been, or is it Cameroonians themselves don't like peace, or is it something that those calling for peace are not telling Cameroonians?
Well, I read the caption you sent for I don't know whether I can.
Yes, of course.
Dig from it.
Yes.
On this caption we have
peace.
Talk about peace, but
the chiefs talked about peace.
Chiefs, we talk about
the bishop talks about justice.
So now, there is something which I want to bring, to the mind of all Cameroonians. Actually, we have been having problem with peace for good reasons, which some of them are superficial. They can be, they are visible, and some of them are hidden. Why do we have the problem of peace in this country up till this date? It is simply because, from the inception, when, this country has to be carved by the Germans, there are a lot of oppositions that were raised due to the fact that Cameroonians from north to south, east to west, have, first of all, different cultures. They are people of different cultures. And next to that, we have the religious aspect which came in, and then the colonial, administration. And all of these made it difficult, such that many Cameroonians do not know that, for example, the northern part of the country did not want to merge with the south just because of religious reasons.
Yeah.
People should know that. It is not because during the Aijo government era and then the current president era, people made it to be as if you know, unity of the country has been realized and that there is peace everywhere. It is not true. And so, when you look at just some of these, you know, features that I gave, you realize that actually we have not been able in our country to merge together as a community, as a people, building a nation. There are so many discrepancies. There are so many
from the different communities
between the various communities, and these go ahead to influence even our churches. And that is why I will say that even though the bishops and pastors and so on, the clergymen have the duty to promote peace, yet the problem remains, you know, it remains there, it remains vivid, because even within the churches, you realize that beside the denominations, that the many denominations that we have, we also have, you know, conflict in between the communities that belong to one church or the other. And the inability to handle these conflicts on a daily basis within the churches is one of the reasons why we fail to experience, you know, peace as an asset in our country. Added to that, the fact, as I told you, you have Muslims, you have Christians. It is true that many of us are, you know, doing that. They are doing what they can do to see that we are together, but still, in a condition like this, in an event like this, you see that there are people who are trying to manipulate others and bring up, you know, that religious sensitiveness, you know, to use it as a weapon against the others, sometimes insinuating that, well, there is religious discrimination, or because, okay, if we have to support someone, we have to do it from the religious background, and which all, as I said, are serious loopholes, hindrances, you know, to maintaining peace. So I want to say that it is not the first time that bishops, pastors, clergymen in general, chiefs, and so on have stood up to, you know, to claim or call for peace in our country. But it's unfortunate that when you look at their attitude, even as we mentioned the one of the civil society, because to an extent, you know, the churches and the chiefs and so on, all of them may be counted as part of the civil society. But you realize that they do not actually put in the necessary effort, the necessary energy to see that peace become an experience, a daily experience. And so they are only, you know, most of the time limited to organizing ecumenical prayers here and there, and waiting that there is a conflict before they will begin organizing, reacting. No, but that's not that is not the way clergymen, could be expected to act. And again, when you take, for example, let me give you the example of the chiefs. You know, there is an association of chiefs, Cameroon Association of all chiefs.
Yes, we have the National Council for Traditional Rulers.
Traditional rulers. And now, what do they do within that council? I want to give you an example. Something might be happening in one of the chieftaincies in Cameroon, but you just see that all the other chiefs will just stay quiet. They will not say anything. But when it comes to the elections, then you see them coming to claim for peace, as if it is the only time when we are concerned with peace. So obviously what I want to say is Cameroonians themselves, be it as individual or member of political parties, should be very, very heedful for maintaining, working for peace on a daily basis, because we cannot expect that the bishops alone, the clergymen and the chiefs, be considered as the guarantor of peace in a country where we need to do more than what they are doing. And as I mentioned earlier, I told you that all of us are called to champion for peace on a daily basis. All of us must stand as guarantor of peace, because if we let it go in the hands of people who do not care, and who again in most time are suspected to be in alliance, in some kind of I mean to say, people who mingle with the government in place, eventually their speech about peace will actually not be considered as something which is strong and sustainable in a long term. So we, as in our party, as long as our party is concerned, we will agree that what they are doing is a good job, is their responsibility. But what we want to ask, or what we expect from them, is to do more than that, because maintaining peace or working for peace begins in the grassroots.
Now, I want to ask you this question. Now, many Cameroonians are saying that peace is not just to say that, okay, let us let bygone to bygone, like you have articulated, that peace, it is to look at the issues that will matter, that may be problematic, resolve them, which will give us peace. That it is not just to sing song that peace, 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 peace. And they're asking is that, why is this particular election? You have witnessed election all through. You have witnessed from 1992 right till date, and you have actually participated right till date. Now, if you look at this election, many Cameroonians are saying that, why is it that this particular election, like the chiefs, are calling for peace, whom some are saying that the same chiefs have identified themselves to belong to a particular political party? That what moral ground, some are saying that what moral ground are they now having to call for peace when they know that there are some issues that need to be resolved and they are not calling those issues?
Well, the condition of chiefs in Cameroon is a very, very critical one. I would not like probably to go right back to, you know, the period of the German, you know, administration in Cameroon. But let us just maybe begin from the what happened in the 1990s. You know, yes, 1990s, because yes, the reintroduction and the role that churches and also kingdoms, chiefs played until some of them were even honored. Some of them received, you know, state medals for having taken part into the conflict settlement. You know, as I said, if you look at the period before that date, that is 1990, you realize that most churches were silent over the administration. They were silent over governance in this country. It is true that some few clergymen, you know, stood up and complained about one thing or the other. But in general, when you go back into the archives of some of the churches, you will see that, you know, whenever there was maybe an upheaval or whatever, or an elections, any major events, you see that they kept on approving what was happening for the sake of peace, whether it was good
or it was bad.
It was bad.
Just let peace reign. Let peace reign.
So they didn't actually work
for justice.
For justice to, you know, see that there is social justice, there is equality, there is equity, that people's rights were respected. And this was the same thing, and it's still with our chiefs for one reason. You know, I don't know whether it is here or somewhere else. We're talking about the status of chieftaincies in our country. And beyond chieftaincies, we're talking about, you know, chiefdoms. Because there is a difference between chieftaincy and chiefdom. Chiefdoms, when you talk about the chiefdom, you refer to a territory. And if you look at the law of decentralization today, even from the what it's obtained in the Constitution, you will not see anywhere mentioned that chiefdoms are recognized as decentralized units. You understand? So eventually, it makes it somehow, you know, confusing, because chiefs, funds, and all the others, lamidos, sultans, all of them are recognized as authorities, but their territories are not recognized. And you know, many people do not know that there is a relationship between every single community on this earth. There is a relationship between the people and the land, because the land stands as a resource that has diverse functions, and it is from the land, the work performed on the land, that in the past the chiefs, the kings, and all the rest were nourished. They were drawing their, you know, resources from the land. Now, with the present dispensation, that right is totally
cancelled.
cancelled. and eventually it distorts, completely. It dissolves even, all the sources from which chiefs could, raise their resources, and eventually they become dependent on whatever comes from the state. If you consider, for example, the degree, I think 2017, considering the traditional rulers and so on, you see clearly that all the powers which the traditional rulers had before were almost completely retrieved, and making them auxiliaries of the administration. And when you are an auxiliary, it simply means that you are called upon to perform a duty only when the administrative authority, summon you to do that. So at this juncture, we will see that all the chiefs that we have, the chief, the funds, and all the rest, the sultan, the lamidos, and so on, have no or less power to raise, resources for themselves so that they can be independent. And so definitely they can only play the game of the state of the administration. It is true that on the one hand, it is not a bad thing because they are moral authorities, and because they are invested with powers which were conferred to them by their own people, they have to champion for peace, to protect, their own communities. But on the other hand, it becomes very, very inconveniencing for the community, because they champion for peace only because they want to please the administration, which is not good.
Okay, I'm coming back to you. Let me take on some messages. Good afternoon. In the studio, when you listen to Atango very carefully, he already knows the results, and if he is insisting on maintaining the rule of law, it is clear that Cotton Sport handicapped Real Madrid. Let me tell you something. If care is not taken, what happens to the Anglophone regions? Okay, we don't want it to happen, but those who started for the Anglophones want to start for the Cameroonians are crying and need someone to listen to them. Remember, there are always okay. Thank you very much. This other one says, why preaching for peace this time? It is a proof that something is wrong somewhere. When that thing is being handled, peace will automatically flow everywhere in this nation. We don't pray for peace, we work for peace. God give us the peace, and we have temper with it. So peace is a byproduct of justice. So let justice remain, and the byproduct will follow. Let's stop deceiving ourselves by preaching what we know the cause is. 5 from Kumbu. And this other one, right, this is okay. Happy Sunday, Javis. I am Elite, writing from Limbe. Everyone comes up to the media and be singing, we want peace. I want to ask them, where is justice? Peace without justice is a failed work, and it will never be what the people want. If there is no justice, they can be peace. Let Cameroonian authorities just make justice prevail, and all of us will see that peace will just come immediately without anyone singing about it. This other right is good afternoon to the studio, good afternoon House of Commons, and happy Sunday, Mr. Javis, and all in the studio. I just pick certain aspects from the excerpt you just played. When someone talks of President of the Republic, when results of the presidential elections are still awaited, I doubt whether they already have them. When people have been threatened for long, until date, they are still being threatened. Is that normal? The third, I wish to find out, if you prepare well for examination, will you be going in with cartouche? What we stand for now is justice and not just peace. If these guys continue to threaten Cameroonians, then they should, okay? Cameroonians have suffered for long, and this was demonstrated in the polls on the 12th of October 2025. When I think of this country, I see what civilians are going through. I just feel like crying. Let God take lead tomorrow, because history will soon judge us. Hyson, writing from Yaoundé. This other one, right, it says, good afternoon in the studio. Listen to the speech or press conference. It seems as if there was no election. As of now, I know the post of the president is vacant, and so when he described Paul Biya as president, it's like he already had been sworn in as president. Celestine, writing from Bamenda. This other one says, hi Javis, happy Sunday. I'm watching from Kumbu. I think that peace is not something that we should just be singing. There is already peace in Cameroon. What we want is justice. That is why if you look at the motto of Cameroon, is peace, work, fatherland. Peace we already have. Work is what we need to look into. Fatherland is the provision of justice. If we have those two, we can now say we have peace in Cameroon. This is all right. It's a happy Sunday, Mr. Javis. I laugh when I hear Cameroonians talking about justice, justice, justice. What we know is that the Constitutional Council will read the result of the legitimate winner of the election. Whoever is not happy with the result should wait for 2032. Next election will come. As of now, we know we have won the election. We, the people who have red flames, have won the election. We are just waiting for the official proclamation, because no result was rigged. They keep saying that rigged. Did they campaign? Where did they campaign? They should know that Cameroon is a land of law, as the Minister of Territorial Administration says, that anyone who wants to jeopardize this peace should know that the law... Okay. Please, if you send us your message, don't insult, don't also threaten, and when you send us a message, stay to the core of the message, and don't actually also incite. Some of you send messages that I've actually sent most of the messages, and some of the messages I have not read. Please bear with me that it is because of the tone and the manner in which the messages were actually written. Because if you send me a message which is aimed at inciting, just know that I will not read it, or if I have to read it, I'll have to censor it to make sure that I have a message which meets with the Republican values. So many messages have been sent, but Mr. Prizo, I want to ask you this. I know we are still to wait for Brandon of the Social Democratic Front. He was to be here, and also the CPDM representative was also to be here. I don't know why they are still to come, but as the program is, we still have about 40 minutes or so, 45 minutes or so to the program. Those of you participating, we are talking about peace and justice. Traditional rulers say there should be peace. Bishops of Cameroon, through the National Episcopal Conference, says justice. Now, peace before justice, or justice before peace, which is coming first, and also what is your view as far as consolidating peace and national unity is concerned? Mr. Prizo, we are moving to 24 hours to the official declaration of the presidential election, the result of the presidential election. You are of a party which went into this election, and your party campaigned across Cameroon. If tomorrow comes, your candidate is not declared the winner, will you people actually congratulate the winner that will be officially declared by the Constitutional Council?
Okay, first of all, I want to say that we had our political bureau meeting yesterday in our headquarters in Bunaberi, and then there are a number of topics that we discussed, and eventually I cannot release them here because
maybe you have those sort of public interest.
We must, yeah, but we must respect the, you know, the ethics of the party, and surely tomorrow, after the proclamation of the elections, Cameroonians will know what we took as resolutions, because we want to believe that the rule of law will prevail. You know, we went into these elections as any other political party, with the idea of abiding with the law and not, you know, using any other means. Now, let me come back to a number of messages that were sent, and then...
You have not answered my question. My question is, will you people accept the result and congratulate the winner?
Excuse me, I don't know. I just told you that we went into these elections, you know, with the idea of abiding with the law. If the results, because after all, it's the law that says that it's the Constitutional Council that will
declare the result. Officially, eh?
Officially, of course. We had a representative at the National Voting Council. He was there yesterday, but we do not have the authority to say that the results or what the information he brought are the official results, so that we should put it in the public. It is not our
what we are saying. I'm not saying that you should put it in public. I'm saying that
so
if the Constitutional Council, which has the mandate to officially declare the result, declare it tomorrow, and a winner is made, which is not your candidate, will your party officially call to congratulate the winner?
Obviously, you know, we consider ourselves as gentlemen, and if we win, good. If we do not win, we just have to recognize the victory of him who was proclaimed as the victor during the elections. I think it is not like, I don't know, it is a law. It isn't a law. Because you know, to congratulate, it's not the law. As I said, we are gentlemen, and you see, I don't know whether I mention it here. Politics is a noble activity. It's for noble people, and that is why noble people recognize their defeat
yes,
and recognize the victory of others. And why do we think like that? It's because, you know, there will not be only one election, and then life continues. There are more to do, to think about, than to, you know, I think hold on things that occur just once.
Okay, my next question to you is, now you've said that your party will accept the result and move on with the next election, because we have the municipal elections, municipal and legislative elections that are coming up in 2026. I'm talking about the immediate one, which is 2026, which is in March. Also talking about the 2032 election, which is 7 years after this one. Now, in all fairness, how you had representative at the National Vote Counting Commission, and who probably had given you people feedback, was he satisfied or was she satisfied with the process of the counting? Because the Constitutional Council only read, it doesn't scrutinize the result, it only read what was submitted. Was he satisfied with the process?
Excuse me, this is not a sentimental issue. whether satisfied or not.
Was the party satisfied?
No, listen. Satisfied how? I want to say, I'm saying it's not a sentimental issue, because, you know, satisfaction can be on two, you know, sides.
Okay, let me rephrase the question. Did it meet the process of coalition? Let's say, because we had what happened from the national counting. Now you are the representative, and your party has its ideology that, okay, this is what we want to see. Did the process meet the aspiration of fairness, equity from the position of your party?
No, excuse me. You say what we want to see. No, when we are going to, you know, the national vote counting, we do not go there with the idea that this is what we want to see. No, we are going there because results came from, you know, the grassroots, from the divisional vote counting, you know. What I mean, results or means came from the 58, you know, divisional vote counting organs. And now what they have to do in Yaoundé is to compile them. And that's why I said that satisfaction could be that, on one way, knowing the results, that our performance, he was satisfied that maybe we did good or we did bad. That is where, you know, lies the issue of satisfaction on the one hand. And the other satisfaction maybe will be that
the transparency.
Things, yeah, transparency, or the work done that day was satisfactory.
Yes, that's my question.
You understand?
That's my question.
But now, I just want to say that this is not something that's required to be made public. It's not required to be made public. Because you see, it is not only our political party that went there. Other political parties took part to that exercise, and it is not an exercise from which someone has to, you know, boast of one thing or the other, or, you know, place a judgment, like saying that you are satisfied with the work done by. It's just like you are judging what was done.
When you say it shouldn't be made public. Mm-hmm. We have seen interviews. For example, when the session is conducted, we are not expecting that you come and tell us the result of the session. We are also expecting that, like, for example, the council chairperson granted the press conference. I said he was satisfied with the process. There was transparency. There was this. That's what we are asking your party. We are not saying that your party should come and tell us that, no, this person said this, this person said that, this person said this. What we are asking is, and secondly, every party has what is called my aspiration, what I want to see as fairness in the process, what I want to see as judge. For example, your party has its position. Now, from a party perspective, in an overview of the counting exercise, can the party tell us that, okay, well, it all went well and no major issues raised, and we are satisfied with the process?
There might have been some issues, but let me tell you one thing. The question you are asking actually were supposed to be asked to him right away after the sitting, because you see,
he briefed you.
No, excuse me. We were in a meeting. We were not in an interview.
Okay.
You know, we were not in a press conference whereby you have our Secretary General who was representing the party, and we, the journalists. He came and narrated some of, you know, the aspect of the work that was done. But as giving his impression about it, well, that is something which is internal. So that's why I said that I can't actually speak on his behalf.
Okay, my next question to you, since you seem not want to answer that question.
No. But excuse me, I wanted to say something. You know, some of your viewers mentioned peace and
justice.
Peace and justice. I want to still say this about justice. Maybe to an extent, justice comes before peace, not after. You understand? Because justice, generally, it's when there are things, maybe properties, or justice is always referring to as properties belonging, owning something, having a right or not. And for this reason, I want to say this, that, you see, excuse me, most of the time I want to be comprehensive. I told you about peace that begins in a grassroots, maybe within the family. Justice is the same thing. And one of the reasons why we fail to reinforce, to live justice in this country and reinforce it, is that we think that justice is attached to the law. Justice is not attached to the law only. Justice is attached to what? To our cultures, because it is our cultures that determine our rights and our limits. Because even within your family, you know that this is what are your rights, these are your limits. You don't have this. This is what belongs to your brother, and so on. So it helps to curb dispute and conflict within the community. We have justice, which is what we call mob justice. That is, you've not done something, but people will decide to kill you, accusing you wrongly. We have another aspect of justice who belong to religion. If you go to the Christianity, the way justice is demanded or spelled there is different from what is happening in the Muslim faith. For example, you know that if you commit maybe a crime in the
Sharia law,
you have the Sharia law, and now you have then this justice which is by the law. And so people should know one thing, which is that we should not hang or hold only on the justice that comes from the law. We have to begin observing the other aspect of the law, which is the social law, the religious laws, and so on. Justice. Because once we master them, we will know that if we meet somebody who is not from our community, or who is from a different profession or whatever, you have racial justice as well.
Yeah, but within the context,
know that.
Yeah, you say people should not hang on the justice from the context of the law.
On the law alone.
But within the context or the premise of an election, is justice not served within the context of the law? We are talking about an election. You say you have beautifully differentiated the religious justice, which also has a different view from the Christian. The Muslim has their own definition within the religious justice system. The social justice system, where we talk about the mob justice, also talk about the traditional justice system. Now, we are within the context of an election. And most of these people who are sending messages about justice are looking at it because election is bound by the law, which is you put 1, you get 2. You put 2, you get 3. It's not that you put 3, you get 10. So you are trying to telling them that okay, they should not look at the okay, how should they now look at the justice by the law? For example, names should be published before an election. That's the justice they are talking about. Are you saying that they should not look at it? Okay, how should they look at it now?
No, you see, it is a bit that's something very, very subtle. That's why I told you about peace. Justice is also as peace. Before you get to the rules of law, you must first be somebody who is keen to observe law from the grassroots, because laws are made by men. Laws are written by men, and once in your mind you are somebody who is unruly, you will definitely have a very bad appreciation of the law. I agree with the people that justice they are expecting abides with the law, but how much have people violated that very law while claiming justice? And again, how much are people really conversant with the law, with justice, such that they will think, because some people they don't care about the law. What they care about is what they think in their mind, and which to them is dependent on what they saw on the ground. Because many people, let me tell you,
but is it not also fair? Is it not also true that justice should not only be done, but should be seen to have been done? Is it not also fair that the law should not be abrogated? It should be applied regardless of race, color, size, gender, age.
Of course, law or the justice should not be biased. You understand? I agree with that. But if before justice is proclaimed, some people have already believed that unless this is said, any other thing that will be said is injustice. That's the problem.
Okay.
And that's why we are talking about educating Cameroonians. I'm not saying this because I am against X or Y, but it is because of the need of education for Cameroonians. Don't proclaim something before the right people or the rightful people or institution has done that.
Okay.
It's not good.
Mr. Javis, good afternoon. The one thing that threatens peace in Cameroon is youth unemployment. If we address the issues actually, if we address the issues accurately, all the hate speech, jealousy, and other negative sentiment will fade away. Makunde writing from Boya. This one says, good afternoon, Javis. Funny how we create problems and target consequences. The greatest enemy of Cameroon is the one who dares to change the voice of the ballot box. This is coming from Anonymous. This other one, right? He says, good afternoon, Javis. One thing, okay, thank you very much. This one says, Mr. Javis, good morning. I am happy of what you are doing in the media. Some people will write you because they want to mock others who are asking for true justice to be done. We have other countries which are doing their election vote at the moment, and 2 days later the results have been released. Why in Cameroon it is that I want to take 2 weeks before they release a result. But you know that all Cameroonian youth, they have white enough that they will not, okay, they are wise, you intended to say they are wise, okay, that they will not just accept any kind of result. I, for one, in my life, I have never voted, but the reason why I made my voter's card this year is because I said I cannot cry for change and then I don't do my civic duty as a citizen. So I decided to make my card, and I went in to vote, and my choice that I vote, he won't. Okay, thank you, Elvis from Limbe. Message is gotten. Please, where you send us text, let it be clear. Good afternoon, sir. Please, your guest is not open to respond to your question. Reverend Tanyi Tabe. This is what I say. Good afternoon, Javis. Please, your guest should answer your question. The questions are straightforward, except, okay, he's not a member of the party, of that party that you just wrote. This one says, this is George Ashu from Kumba. All we need is the truth of the result, which will be out tomorrow, because there is a lot of corruption in this country. The winner should deserve this other right. The same people who are preaching for peace are same people who have swallowed the national cake and also care for their children and grandchildren. We need change. Justice need change and justice. And Pascal, look, Pascal watching from Yaoundé, and he says happy Sunday. There will be there will be no we are people advocating. Why are people advocating for peace? Justice has a septic, and one of it is prone is peace. All the population is asking for is the result to be proclaimed, and rightly too. May God help Cameroon. Happy Sunday to you, Javis. The program is nice, but your guests seem to be dodging your questions. Ask him that what will he do tomorrow if the result does not favor his party. Yeah, he refused to answer that. They will congratulate. My next issue is ask your guest that is he satisfied with the way in which the results were conducted from a general position. This is Ashu.
No, let me answer him and say that, you know, it is not an obligation that when you accept the results you must congratulate the winner.
The winner.
It's not compulsory. Let people know that. And again, you see, we have not had that culture. We have it in Western countries,
and some other African countries.
Some other African countries have begun, you know.
Because we saw how the president John Mahamat was called by the outgoing president Nana Akufo.
Yes,
we also saw that in Bumu.
Honestly speaking, how many countries?
We've had a lot of countries.
How
in Africa,
many countries? Let me tell you.
Goodluck Jonathan called
Tinubu.
No, Buhari when he lost in 2015.
Yes.
Motarika. Lazarus Chakwera called Motarika in Malawi when he lost. John Dumbelu. We have Buma Boku of Botswana was called by.
It is done in very few countries. Sometimes it is done because it is done out of compulsion. What should I do? Because if you look at
so that the people should not see that.
Yeah, that's all. If you hear the reasons why I watched the interview of Goodluck Jonathan.
Yes.
Not long ago, and he was talking about what happened after the elections. While people were expecting that maybe well, they will release the elections results before he will congratulate Buhari, it took over responsibility a day before to do that.
Yes.
To congratulate him, and he gave reasons why he did so. It was under compulsion. If you take a country like Kenya, you know, where you know, all these days I've been following what happened with the dismiss of Raila
Amolo Odinga.
Yes, you see, it is very fascinating. People want to learn about politics. They have to take this example.
Yeah, but Uhuru Kenyatta, who was backing Raila Odinga, Raila Odinga lost the election. Uhuru Kenyatta called William Ruto. And Raila Odinga also, after the Constitutional Council, Supreme Court ruled, also called William Ruto to congratulate.
Yes, but tell me.
That's the same Kenya.
No, listen, that's the same Kenya. But what happened during those elections? You see, it shouldn't be something which you do because it's a formality. You have to do it out of your heart. You know, there have been, in Kenya, there were a lot of conflicts during all the elections, presidential election, in which Raila Odinga stood, Raila Odinga stood. People died.
Yeah, that was the 2007 election.
And some of the election, the result.
But in 2022,
you understand?
did not die the way.
Yes, but
it was peaceful
the
now. And maybe also in 17.
Yeah, the situation, the atmosphere was very tense. So when you say congratulations to somebody, why do you say it's just to please people? Actually, you know, it is acceptable. But you see, one thing which I want to say, because I had people, some of the televiewers mention a lot of things, and you see, the problem we still have in our country and many African countries is related to emotions.
Okay.
We still have problem of, psychological problem. And that is why often we say people need to pass through a process of catharsis. It is a very difficult, strange word even to so many people, but it simply means that at a point in time in life, when you have to handle a problem, a conflict or whatever, what you have to do is to free yourself from emotions. Because most of the time, what happened with us in this country in diverse, ways happen because we do things out of emotions. I wrote a book which I'm expecting it will be published in the days to come. I don't know, it will depend, where I said that, you see, when you get into politics, as I still say, politics is a noble activity and it's for noble people, which means that you must be prepared to win. You must also be prepared to lose elections. Raila Odinga, late Raila Odinga, we mentioned, lost election 5 times.
Yeah.
Kenya 5 times. If you go to other countries, like let's say France, you have Mitterrand, you have Chirac, you have Marine Le Pen. Jean, the father first, Jean-Marie Le Pen.
Jean-Marie Le Pen, and now
then
Marine Le Pen.
Marine Le Pen.
Yes.
How many times did they miss the elections? So people should not take it just as a play or as, an issue of, I don't know, sentiment. No, it's not about sentiment. You need to be strong enough.
Okay, we are almost 2 minutes left, but let me take on some few messages. A lot of messages writing us from different parts of the world. A lot. Happy Sunday, Javis. Looking good and decent. I'm enjoying the program from Manfred Dieudonné. Thank you very much, Dieudonné. This one right from Bafousa says, greetings, Javis. Please invite. Okay, that my guest seems to be representing his political party's interest and not talking on behalf of Cameroonians. Okay, please, your guest is not honest, and he's not honest of your question. Okay, this was the problem here is that Gitis Javis. The problem here is that we need truth to prevail over emotional talks. It is easy to lose an election and start pretending as if every other person is violent except you. Truth is what matters at this point, and that is all we, the masses, are asking for. Before the election, no one was trying to go out and protest. So if we now, it's because we don't agree with what they are dashing out. Okay, this one says, good day, Javis. I am Kimbi watching from Bingo. Okay, your guest is not answering your question. Why should he be covering? Why should he be covering things? They only talk about other countries. That my guess is not covering things now. Why are you accusing people of covering things? This one says, salute you, Mr. Javis. I want to say that aspect of congratulation after election result is just an act of fair play in democracy, as we have been hearing from other countries happening. Why is it here with us in Cameroon? It has never happened with us here. That incumbent is congratulating the winner. We want it to happen here. Ella writing from Limbe. Good afternoon, Javis. I'm Yannick from Yaoundé. My media and Prime and team is doing a great job. I appreciate you guys. All Cameroonians want is change. It doesn't matter who be the president. Before tomorrow, price of basic commodities drop, fuel drop, other items drop. Well, we will have peace. Let Mr. Dash and president live there forever. Leave the president. Okay. Okay, please, if you send us a message, don't insult, don't also target people. Okay. Good afternoon, Nestor writing from Bamida. Please ask your guests to be open without avoiding questions. If he and his party congratulate the winner, will they die? Absolutely not. At this moment, Cameroon is in the middle of the storm and has two outcomes. And if the truth is said, then there will be peace. Else, okay. Good day, Mr. Javis. Your panelists. Okay, Mula. All right, thank you very much. We're out of time. Thank you very much for coming. And your last word to Cameroonians, briefly.
Okay, first of all, I want to greet all your your viewers. I like their comments. By the way, I know
there are so many messages. I've not been able to take up.
No, there's no problem. And I want to encourage them not just to be distant with the activities of politics. Let them get involved.
Okay.
This is a period when we need to have young people involved in politics and get to be members of political parties or read as much as they can or come closer to those who are involved rather than standing, aloof and always complaining and whatever, using concepts which they cannot actually, how do I mean it? They cannot expand on.
Okay.
So thank you very much and thank them for watching, and I want to encourage them to keep on watching your TV and be ready tomorrow for the elections and believe and take note of one thing, that life continues after all these things.
Bless for Manfred, good afternoon to you. I want to thank all those of you who took our time to participate on today's edition of our program. Unfortunately, because of time, we cannot read all of the messages, and those of you whose messages were actually censored is for particular reasons. I apologize for doing that, and I also appeal to your consciences that whenever we are sending messages on House of Commons, let us also respect some of the deontology, keep it short and simple, respect the individual, target issues and not individuals. This program will be rebroadcast today at exactly 10:30 p.m. It will be on our YouTube channels. We have two YouTube channels. We have My Media Prime TV on YouTube and we have BT Media Group on YouTube. You have it there. It's already on Facebook. Those of you watching on Facebook, I want to thank you very much for your participation. I want to thank you, Maka, who is also here with us to observe the program. Maka, thank you very much and thanks for coming. I want to also thank the producer Elvis and Alain at the broadcasting decks for producing this program. And also those of you who intend to be part of this program, contact me on the numbers on your screen and I will include you into the group where the topics are shared. If it's of your interest, you participate. As always and as usual, tomorrow is Monday, the date where the elections will be officially announced. No matter the matter, what matters is your matter. And what should matter for you is that you should stay out of trouble. My name is Tah Javis Mai, Cameroon's commercial capital dweller. Until we meet again, bye-bye.